welcome back to another episode of Flip That Recipe, where we turn your average everyday recipes into something amazingly healthy and tasty. My name is Kat, and today we are flipping your average everyday egg and flour pancakes into great and healthy banana oat pancakes. So the problem with average everyday egg and flour pancakes is that they have a lot of carbs in them, and sometimes they have a lot of added sugars. So we've turned them into something that's the healthier version of it, less carbs, no additive sugars, and will definitely help you kickstart your day. Here are my ingredients and the tools I'm going to use to make these banana oat pancakes. We have butter, 2 eggs, half a cup of rolled oats, we have 2 ripened bananas, I have a mixing bowl right here with a fork, and I have my frying pan. So the butter is going to be used to fry the pancakes. So now I'm going to start to make the banana pancakes. First thing that I'm doing is just mashing the 2 bananas that are ripened in the bowl. Just mash it up as much as possible. I like putting my bananas in the fridge right before I use them. I leave them out in room temperature and then try to ripen them, and once they have those brown spots that indicate that they're ripe, then I put them in the fridge, and the night before I leave them there, and then I take them out in the morning when I'm supposed to use them. You can get rolled oats at the bulk section of the grocery store. I usually just get what I need, like the amount I need. Alright, so we'll just mix that up together. We'll add the eggs. So I'm using brown eggs for this recipe just because this is the one that was pasture raised in this supermarket that I found. A lot of times these chickens get a lot of GMO feed and they're fed a lot of antibiotics, so as much as possible I try to use eggs that are pasture raised, just so because I know that pasture raised and organic, just because I know that the chickens are being fed, are going out in the fields, and they're eating what they're supposed to be eating, and they're not being fed necessarily GMO feed and a lot of antibiotics. So I try to stick with eggs that are pasture raised. All right, so we're gonna heat up our pan and turn it to medium heat. Just gonna add the butter and let it melt while the pan is starting to heat up. So for this recipe, I'm also using like Kerrygold Pure Irish Butter. I really like this butter, and it's actually milk from grass-fed cows. For a lot of the recipes that I make, I prefer grass-fed just because, like what I said, it's kind of like the eggs wherein the chickens are going to the pastures and they're doing what they're supposed to do and they're designed to do, which is like eat what's on the grass or whatever, and they're not being fed GMO or they're not being fed antibiotics. And that's the same thing for grass-fed butter. The cows are eating grass, cows are meant to eat grass, and they're not they're not eating GMO feed and food that has antibiotics. It's whatever they ingest, and you end up ingesting if you eat the butter from the cows that are eating antibiotics or from the chickens that are eating feed that have antibiotics in it. When it comes to the taste of like grass-fed butter, just in case if you have not tried it, it definitely has a rich, full taste to it, as opposed to the regular butter that's not grass-fed, and it has a clean finish to it too. We just love it. We put it in everything, like sweet potatoes. We use it as, to fry our pancakes. But ever since we've had grass-fed butter, just the health benefits to it and the taste, we've just stuck to this. All right, so I just take a spoon and I take like 3 spoons. And so for this recipe, I really like to keep my pancakes small just because it keeps more intact. Like, it works better that way. Like, the oats are glued together better if you have a smaller like surface area as opposed to having a really big pancake. So I try to keep the size and servings for this smaller. And usually for the average egg and flour pancakes, the flour holds everything together and that kind of acts as a glue. But for this one, we have the egg to kind of act like a glue together, but It just works so much better if you put smaller servings. That way you can control it and you can flip it better, and it ends up being more intact and glued all together. For these pancakes, we're gonna flip it until they have bubbles on the top. So that's about like 3 to 4 minutes. So as you can see, after 3 to 4 minutes, they're kind of like bubbling and they're like starting to rise up a little bit. So I'm just gonna carefully flip this one, and then definitely carefully flip that one too. So just be very careful in flipping it, and just make sure that you wait at least 3 to 4 minutes before flipping it. Otherwise, you know, I've tried it before and it was like the whole thing just kind of fell off. Not saying that it would happen to you, but you just have to give it a little bit more time to get heated up and to get the other side really well done before you can flip it, to make sure that everything is intact. And then when I flip it, I leave it on for maybe another 3 minutes, and then you can check, you know, whether, I mean, it cooks really fast. All right, so I think our pancakes are ready. Just gonna transfer it there. As you can see, they're perfectly intact and have, like what I said, I have it smaller servings, just because I've tried this before and I put a big batter in the middle of the pan, and when I flipped it, it just kind of like fell apart. Here they are, your finished product. Here are your banana oat pancakes. You could definitely eat this with fruit if you'd like. I like eating mine with bananas and peanut butter. If you want to add maple syrup, you can. I don't usually add maple syrup just because you're already getting a lot of the sweetness from that ripened bananas that we've added in the recipe. Or you can even top it with your favorite fruit like blueberries, raspberries, or whatever works for you. Well, thank you for joining me in making my healthy banana oat pancakes. I hope you enjoyed it, and don't forget to subscribe, click the link below for more videos, and I'll see you next week. Bye!